What is going on, you guys? Steven from Airsoft Tech. Today I am bringing you guys the review and shooting test video of this Elite Force H&K G36C. If you guys are interested in purchasing this gun after you see this video, I will leave a link in the description to Fox Airsoft where you guys can go ahead and purchase it for around $230. And Fox, big thanks to you guys because they're the ones that hooked it up and sent this out to me. To be clear, this is the Elite version, that's why it's more expensive, $230. They do have the competition version, which is like $150 or $160 or something like that. So this is definitely more expensive, but you get a lot more out of it. This is way better than the competition version, being, you know, build quality, externals, you know, the material that they're using, and then internally this thing's just way better. But I will leave a link in the description to the competition as well, just in case maybe you want to go with the cheaper one, I don't know. But yeah, so both of them will be linked in the description. And of course, there are going to be timestamps in the description, so if you want to see something in particular, just go ahead and look down there. Anyways though, just like all my other reviews, we're going to be starting off with the external construction and just showing you guys all the features, get a close-up, anything like that. We'll talk about the internals afterwards, and then after that we'll go ahead and get into the shooting test, which will be the chrono, accuracy, damage test, and then obviously I'll throw in some clips of me firing the gun as well to get that nice blowback action. Anyways though, getting into the review now, starting with the front of the gun, we do have a plastic orange flash hider, and right behind that is the only things on the gun that is metal, that being the left and right rail segments here as well as the one on the bottom. These are the only things on this gun that are metal, believe it or not. Everything else is polymer. So there is tons of space to go ahead and mount anything you want on the gun. You can go ahead and put a zoom camera here to get some gameplay footage if you want. You can go put a pike box, flashlight, laser, a foregrip, anything you want. It is totally up to you. But going back up to the top of the gun here, we actually do have another rail segment here, and this is for you to go ahead and mount any optic of your choosing. So you have a huge rail segment that runs the length of the gun, and then the three little metal rail segments at the front of the gun. And no, this one is not metal. You're probably thinking, well, if these three are metal, then this is metal. Nope. But speaking about the top of the gun here, why don't I go ahead and show you guys the iron sights, and these are indeed polymer. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, oh yeah, you could see that. It was actually worse when I put my finger there. But there is the front iron sights, and then here is the rear one, if you guys can see that, boom. And this actually has two different apertures. You can go ahead and have the big one, just like so, and then you can go ahead and flip it down. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and get a closer look, and there's a freaking plane. Anyways though, okay, so getting into the meat of the gun here, remember this is completely polymer, but starting at the top here, right below the top rail here, we do have the charging handle, which is ambidextrous. You can pull it this way or you can push it that way, and then all you have to do is pull it one way, pull it back, and then it reveals your hop up, as you can see. And then once you're done, just go ahead and let go. But anyways, I just want to show you right here, this is the first thing I'm not a fan of, which is this, all this writing that's engraved into the magwell here. It's just like, is it really necessary? It just says like all these different things, warning, like it's a toy gun, you know, that generic safety stuff. But you know, it's not that big of a deal. If this was painted white, oh my god, I'd kill myself. So as long as it's not like super, you know, out there and everyone can see it, you know, you have to look pretty closely to notice it. But again, it is still kind of annoying. It's not my favorite thing on the gun, but I'm kind of just nitpicking at this point. But right below that, we do have the magazine here. It's almost like an AK style mag release, and actually how you put the magazine in the gun, you kind of have to put it, you know, start forwards and put it backwards. So it's kind of like an AK, but this is a high cap magazine. The trap door, I've never actually messed around with these again until the unboxing video, but the trap door is pretty damn tiny, if you guys can see that, if this focuses. There we go. And then the wheel is on the bottom, so you go ahead and wind it up. I believe this is a 300 round high cap magazine. It is plastic, if you are curious. And if I'm wrong about the capacity, I said 300 rounds, I'll correct myself on the screen. But yeah, so overall, not too bad, just a standard G36C magazine. Right behind the magazine and the mag release, we do have our trigger, which is not metal, it is polymer, along with the trigger guard, which is polymer. And then the fire selector switch is also polymer. So when I said these three rail segments are the only things that are metal on this gun, I was not kidding. Obviously, like the bolts and screws and pins and all the internals are metal, but externally, you know what I mean. But here is the fire selector switch. So we have safe, we have semi, we have 2-round burst, and then we also have full auto. So the competition version does not actually have the 2-round burst feature, it just has safe, semi, and full auto. And then internally, the competition version doesn't have something very cool, which I will cover once we get to the internal internal section of this video. But then again, the competition version is nothing compared to this one. However, one thing to note, the fire selector switch is a little jittery. It's not like super firm, and that goes for both of them because this is the ambidextrous, obviously. But yeah, it's just something to note. So right below the fire selector switch and all the firing modes and whatever, we do have the motor grip, and there is a motor height adjustment screw down in that little hole right there, but I wouldn't mess with it out of the box. Out of the box, it should be fine. And getting to the back of the gun here, we do have the standard, the iconic looking G36 stock here, and it's really nice because it actually does have a rubberized butt pad here, and I don't think the competition version has that as well. Anyways though, it obviously is foldable. That is also another, you know, classic or iconic feature of the G36s. So you can go ahead and run this like a pretty big pistol, and it's not all that heavy. You know, it does have some decent weight to it considering that it is completely polymer, but overall it's not that big of a deal at all. And one good thing, a lot of guns don't actually have a secure, you know, functioning little hook or whatever to actually make the stock lock into place. Those guns that have foldable stocks like this, this thing is not moving anywhere. This thing is stuck in there, and you actually can't even just pull it out. You have to be careful. You have to go ahead and push up a little bit, and then you can go ahead and pull it out, and it locks into place. Because if you see this right here, that little hook, that is what actually locks the stock into place. And if you just try and freaking pull the stock back out, you could potentially, I cannot speak today, but you could potentially go ahead and break this little hook, if you can see that right there. I'm not sure if that's actually possible. I haven't really heard anyone doing that, you know, because people know not to just rip it out, but just something to keep in mind. I honestly think this was the fastest I've ever covered a gun before, so go ahead and smack that thumbs up button for that, because I tend to just talk forever. But I'm going to flip the gun over to this side so I could show you guys both sides of the gun. There really isn't anything different here besides those beautiful trademarks, HK, G36C, caliber or cal 6mm BBs. I don't really like how it says BB there. I think it would have been better if they just left it 6mm, but then again, it kind of goes back to this whole safety writing thing. They want to make sure that they know, or everyone knows, this is a toy gun and not a real G36, and then they have a fake little serial number there, and then we have more freaking warning signs and safety stuff engraved into the polymer. So again, I'm not a huge fan of all these engravings of all these safety, you know, notes and tips and stuff like that. We know, but you know, again, it's not all that big of a deal. Let me go ahead and squat down here because the camera's really low. So getting into the battery compartment space though, because I have not covered that, you have to go ahead and pop this pin out right here at the front. Just go ahead and push it. Very easy. You don't need any tools. Go ahead, take the pin out, and then you're just gonna want to go ahead and slide this whole handguard forward just like so. Super simple, and there is your Tamiya connector. And I don't know how to say this, I will warn you, the battery compartment space you think it would be decent because this is a pretty decent size handguard. You're wrong, you're mistaken. You have to go ahead and use a pretty skinny battery with this thing. Any brick batteries? Nope. Any long brick batteries? Nope. You have to go ahead and use, I don't know if you have to, maybe you can work around this, but the one that I found very easy to go ahead and install were these 3-cell Tenergy LiPo batteries that actually is, you know, kind of used for the Evos, because the Evos have terrible battery space, but I will show you that when we talk about the internals. But yeah, so here is the battery compartment space. Just wanted to warn you though, you can't use any battery that you want. Let me put it that way. So getting into the internals now, one huge thing that the freaking competition version doesn't have is this one. The Elite version has a MOSFET, which allows the trigger response to be about 1 billion times better than the competition version. Not to mention, with the MOSFET, they were able to go ahead and program this thing for the 2-round burst feature, which I've already showed you guys. The competition version, as I said, nope, doesn't have it. In addition to the MOSFET, it has low resistance wiring. Now why don't we go ahead and get into the fun stuff, the shooting test, which will be just me, you know, showing you guys or giving you guys clips of me firing the gun to make sure you guys get nice clear footage of this blowback feature, which is pretty cool. The trigger response, the flight path of the BBs, and then you just give you guys a whole bunch of different clips of me firing the gun, and then we'll get into the chrono, accuracy, and damage test, and then we'll wrap the video up from there. Damn. beautiful MOSFET, baby. No trigger reset. Alright you guys, so I'm doing this a little bit differently. I actually have the extra tech, or like the screen portion or whatever, mounted on the side of the G36 here, and then the actual unit I shoot through is right here. So the readings are going to pop up right there on the side of the gun, so hopefully you guys enjoy this little view better. But I got .20 set up for the extra tech here. I have .20s in the magazine. It should be shooting around 320 FPS. Let's see if that's actually what it's shooting. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see the readings. 324.1, 320.7, 316.4, 324.8, 323.7, 320, 325, 324.5, 318.4, and 322.2. So anywhere from like 315 to 325, which is perfect for CQB. Hopefully you guys actually saw all these readings. Now let's go ahead and try full auto. Make sure I wind the magazine up, flip this thing all the way down to full auto. Here we go. 17 rounds a second for an EBB. That's not too bad. 17 again. Well, maybe it didn't read. Hold on, let me try again. Nope, I think it's reading. I think it's actually really consistent because the FPS is changing. So I definitely think the rounds per second is actually really consistent at 17. Yep, 306.6 at 17, and the number went up to 15, which means like the 15th result or whatever. So yeah, this is really consistent. 17 shots per second, not too bad. All right, you guys, so I know I'm supposed to be doing the accuracy test right now. Look, I actually have the shoot and see target up on my plate carrier, and it's kind of balancing on a freaking pole between my orange tree. I don't know if that's gonna work out or not. However, really quickly, I forgot to mention two things when I was covering the G36 itself. So let me go ahead and talk about those two things really quickly. So the first thing that I forgot to mention is that this actually comes with a quick change spring feature. So if you want to increase the FPS, because as we saw in the Chrono Test, it's shooting a little weak, 320-ish basically, so it's really good for CQB. But if you want to increase it for outdoor, you can easily do that. All you have to do, apologize about the plane, all you have to do though is go ahead, swing the stock around, push out this rear body pin, if you guys can see that right there, and once you push that body pin out, this piece right in here, if my camera focuses, there we go, but this will then pop out. It will literally shoot out unless you hold it because there's a spring behind it. So once that basically releases and it shoots on out, boom, that is where you go ahead and change your spring. So again, if you want to use this outdoors and you want to increase the FPS, boom, it's right there. You don't have to take it completely apart to access it, so that's a very nice feature. Now the second thing that I forgot to mention besides the quick change spring feature is that this actually comes with a functioning bolt catch. I don't think many people know that this gun has this if they own it, but all you have to do is pull back on the charging handle, and then hopefully you guys will be able to see that little button right there by my thumb, right in front of the trigger, this little, you know, plastic piece or whatever. All you have to do is push it up and it locks the freaking charging handle back and the bolt back or whatever, so you can go ahead and kind of mess with your hop up, whatever you need to do to adjust the gun, you know, depending on whatever weight BBs you're using. So anyways though, it's really nice that you don't have to just hold the charging handle back and then kind of futz around with the hop up. All you have to do is pull the charging handle back, push up on the button, and you're good to go. And then once you are done futzing with your hop up or doing whatever you need to do, all you have to do is push back on the charging handle and it springs forward. But yeah, those were the two things I forgot to mention. Quick change spring feature, very easy to get to, and then the actual functioning bolt catch. Anyways though, let's go ahead and get into the accuracy test. I'm done talking. Hopefully this thing actually works and it doesn't tilt over when I'm shooting it. And if you guys are curious, I'll be using 0.25 gram BBs and I'll be shooting probably at around 60 to 65 feet. Alright, you guys, that was actually pretty impressive. I was probably shooting more at around, I want to say like 50 to 55 feet, not quite 60 plus feet. But with 0.25 gram BBs, this thing was shooting straight as can be. There's all these BBs freaking stuck in my, you know, plate carrier and like the mag pouches. But this thing actually worked pretty well. Look, it's freaking balancing right now. I did miss quite a few shots, but I wanted to put it on a plate carrier to give you guys a better, I don't know, idea of like if someone was wearing a plate carrier and you were shooting at someone's torso, this thing will hit them no problem, even at around probably, again, as I said, between 50 and 60 feet. So for a gun that's shooting 320 FPS and, you know, it's probably mostly used for CQB fields, this thing is shooting pretty well at a pretty decent or reasonable distance. So yeah, I am pretty impressed. Not too bad at all. That freaking soda squirted everywhere. But yeah, we completely shredded this can up. Let me zoom out for you guys. There we go. Look at that thing. Completely. Oh, look at all the BBs in there. Oh, it almost looks like Dippin' Dots. If you guys know what Dippin' Dots are, shout out to you guys. But yeah, completely shredded this guy up. There are actually some dents from some BBs hitting inside of the can but not penetrating. But then we have some BBs that just went clean through. Look at that right there. Very, very nice. So yeah, completely shredded up for the damage test. Not too bad. Alright, you guys, I think that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review / shooting test of this Elite Force Umarex G36C. If you guys are interested in purchasing this, I will leave a link in the description to Fox Airsoft where you guys can go ahead and buy from $230. Can you guys hear that playing? As I was saying though, overall, I am really liking this G36. For my first time ever shooting one, handling one, doing videos on one, this was a great experience. These higher end models compared to the competition version ones, that being UMPs, MP5s, G36s, these elite versions, or the just, again, as I said, more expensive ones, they are so much nicer externally and internally, you know, performance, everything. This gun is just so much better than the competition one. Thank you again though to Fox Airsoft for sending this out to me to do videos on. Guys, I will be doing the review and shooting test of the 1911 next, so stay tuned for that. If you guys liked that new setup for the accuracy test, hopefully, you know, let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I think it worked out pretty well, and I have some big things coming, like actually, like it's big. Like it's the first time I've ever done something like this. I'm not gonna spoil it just yet. I'll probably release it, or you know, I'll let you guys know about it. I'll spoil it once I hit 100,000, which should be in less than a month. So stay tuned for that. I cannot wait. I hope you guys enjoy what I'm talking about right now. So just wait, be patient. It's almost here. I'm rambling though. I know I'm talking too much. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next one.